Welcome to AI Bytes, where we talk about the latest developments as relates to the. Welcome to another episode of AI Bytes, as we discuss the latest developments as it relates to the creative industry in under 15 minutes.
Today is all about WAN 2.2. We're going to talk about how to run it, we're going to talk about camera movements, and we're going to talk about how to get it to run faster. And we have more experiments coming, so stay with us.
Wait. Let's settle this first before we continue. Is it WAN or is it WAN?
We'll determine during the episode if it's going to be WAN or WAN. We'll see. This week has been one small step for WAN and one giant leap for WANkind. So
that was probably one of the best comments I saw on our.
So actually, in that comment, it has both versions of it: the one small step for WAN and one giant leap for WANkind. I don't know. Yeah, what are we talking about this week? What have you found with your experiments?
So when it came out, I ran a few experiments on WAN, and as probably most of you have seen the IKEA unboxing being run on Veo 3, I wanted to kind of run this as a benchmark to see how it does on here, and we got some pretty good results. I'm running another one right now live, so maybe we can have a look at it and see how we came to the results and what kind of results we can get. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so we're using the 14B parameter, the 14 billion parameter model, and we are doing an I2V, and we've got our initial image. I just created this using ChatGPT, and we'll include this image or a link to it or the description on how you can create it in the description of the video. And I just used ChatGPT to generate what I want for my prompt, and it is the unboxing with that explosion effect that you've seen going around. I did write a little GPT for this, or a little prompt, I should say, that helps create better WAN prompts for generation. We'll include that in the comment as well. And so in this scenario, for example, the first few generation, I was struggling to keep the camera in one position. And what I found is describing the scene as detailed as possible helps a lot. For example, knowing that the window is supposed to be in the shot at all times actually helped a lot with keeping the camera in position, and it stopped it from like trying to zoom out or pan out or any other movement. So I know a lot of people say don't over prompt, but I find it like the more information you put in, you usually get better results. And you can put too much and then just kind of scale back if need be, if you start getting things that you don't want in your generation. Just running this, and since I'm using the basic workflow without any optimization other than just enabling sage attention. So it's gonna take about 10 minutes for a 5-second video at 81 frames at 16 frames per second. So we'll be back once that's done. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is the first one we did. That's actually really good.
I like the backsplash.
Yeah, the backsplash is actually amazing. Most of the details are really good. The animations make sense. It wasn't exactly an explosion of the box, but it was more of an unwrapping of the box. But that's probably something that can be fixed with maybe prompting, or yeah, that's a really good video. It looks like WAN 2.2 has something to say in this field, and I think it can be used quite a bit, especially for creating assets and marketing assets for different branding. And I can see a lot more potential here. I've seen a lot of different videos that kind of follow the same pattern and structure as this one for different products and brands, and I think that there can be some really great videos made here in the open source and for much cheaper than you would have to if you were building it as a closed source model.
So what I wanted to talk about is as soon as the news dropped of WAN 2.2 coming out, I knew exactly what I'm going to do with it. And that's because when 2.1 came out, we wrote this extensive prompt guide of figuring out how you can make really great videos. And one of the things that I learned in the course of playing with AI video generation is you can have these powerful models at your disposal, but if you want to make something that's really compelling, you need to learn how cinematography and videography actually work. So when 2.1 dropped, I started learning about camera movements and how important they are in the way it makes your viewer feel. And I started writing this blog post that's been one of the most popular blog posts on our website on how to guide WAN 2.1 into making different camera movements But I also at the time discovered some of the limitations of 2.1. There were certain camera movements that it simply would not do, or if you really tried to prompt strongly for it, it would just create this discontinuous outputs. So as soon as 2.2 dropped, I went back to all of those prompts and I started seeing how 2.1 compared.
Yeah, I think in the description of in the release notes, there was quite a bit of talk about how they improved the camera movement, and there was a lot of work on
Right.
that. So that'll be interesting to see how much actually they did improve.
Yeah. So let's have a look. We have some general guides, by the way, about how you should write prompts. This is based on what we have discovered in our experimentation. We won't get into that in too much detail, but we'll link to this blog post. So let's talk about the specific camera movements. The most basic one out there is a pan. And a pan is generally used for revealing additional details about a scene or sometimes following a character as they perform some action. And so it's one of the most simple camera movements. The camera stays stationary and then rotates along its vertical axis. So I noticed with 2.1, this is the first output here that you can see at the top. I could easily generate pans to one side, but not to the other. It was like it always wanted to go left, but as soon as I tried prompting it to go pan right, it would just I at least could never get a good output out of it. With 2.2, I could easily change the direction. So in these two outputs right here, you can easily see that at the top, I was prompting it to go left and it followed the direction exactly. And at the bottom one, I was prompting it to go right and it followed the direction exactly as well. Another related effect is something called a whip pan, which is the same thing, but done much faster. And when you do it faster, it kind of creates a different effect, a more intense effect. And that I have not been able to get with either one. I've noticed with a lot of these camera movements, you can't really control the speed of the movement. Like with 2.2, you can control the movements themselves really well, but not the speed. My feeling definitely with 2.1 as well is that the model kind of seems to have its own rhythm, and it's very hard to move it off of that rhythm. But 2.2 has improved a lot. It might be the case as well that with more experimentation, we'll find a way of
It could just be a prompting issue, or
yeah. Pullback kind of worked very well with both. The dollying in and out was another one that I found with 2.1. You could only get one. So with 2.1, whatever you prompted, it would only, as soon as this word dolly was in or like zoom was in, it would only go in. It would not come out.
Yeah, I remember I could not get that to work in 2.1.
Yeah. So with 2.1, these were the outputs. So the same prompt, I just changed the prompt. One of them is just zooming in and the other one is zooming out, and it works perfectly well.
Very nice.
And it's much smoother than what we had before as well. And similarly with the tilt, now tilt was, we could never get tilt to work with 2.1. It's doing something like this prompt is basically saying we want to start looking at the mountaineer's shoes, and then we want to look up. The top output there from 2.1 is kind of doing that, but it's like the camera is physically moving. So at the very first beginning of the shot, the camera is at the same level as the boots, and then it moves up. But with the tilt motion, what we want to look down at the boots, and then it needs to rotate along its horizontal axis, basically, to shift up and look up. And that's happening really well with 2.2. And a lot of these outputs that I'm showing here, these are like the first things that I got out of the model. I didn't have time to experiment. Yeah. Tracking shots work really well with both. And crash zooms was another one that I could never really get working with 2.1. But they're working really well with 2.2. Although earlier I was recording a video just on this topic, and 2.1 actually produced some amazing crash zooms. So I thought maybe I just had a bad luck with these outputs here. And finally, with camera roll, this one is really, really hard to get. This one output here with 2.1, what you see at the top right now, this was the best I could get. It's not really a camera roll motion because you can see it's kind of like on an angle. It's not exactly above the subject. And this is the best one after many experimentation. And I tried more of them over the last 24 hours with 2.1 to see, can I actually get something good out of it? And no, I can't get a camera roll. But with 2.2, this was the very first output that came out of it. So yeah, I think it's very exciting with the precise level of camera movement control that you can have with WAN 2.2. And like I said, we have a different video that we did just on this topic, so you can find it on the channel.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the last thing that I want to talk about is this workflow. One thing, if you've been playing around with 1 2.2, one thing you'll notice is that it is a shockingly slow model. So we're running these obviously on InstaSD. We're using H100s generally for all of our video generation needs. Yesterday or 2 days ago when 2.2 came out, I found that I was spending about 25 minutes for a 5 second long video at 720p with
Right.
24 frames per second. For some reason, right now, I feel like I'm getting something a little bit better than that. But I'm also playing around with this workflow. So there were.
Well, just to confirm one thing, there was some improvements on Comfy that should have helped with the speed a little
I
bit,
see.
but it's still quite slow
Yeah, it's very
compared to
slow.
2.1. Yeah.
Okay, so there is this LoRa that came out for 1 2.1 a while ago. And this basically helps you cut down the number of steps you need to generate really good outputs. And so there is a workflow that we can use that I've been playing around with. It's basically the same workflow as the official one workflow, except it has these LoRa loader models in between. And this will basically help us cut down on the number of steps that we need. I am not going to run it here. Actually, I can run it here with 4 steps. I've been comparing the same prompt that we've had with the camera tilt with or without. So this was without. This is just a 3 second video at 720p. It's not really great quality. I see this like hazy effect in all the outputs right now. Not really sure where it's coming from, but I'm just going to quickly run this with 4 steps to make sure the first sampler ends at step 2.
So is the
And
recommendation 4 steps both for the high and low noise in this scenario?
exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, the original was for 1 2.1. It was 4 steps total. Now,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
2.2 that comes with 2 samplers. We just split the steps between the two.
Right.
So this one also starts at step 2. Okay. And let's do it. It'll be very fast. I'm not sure what where this hazy effect is coming from, to be honest. It's with or without the LoRa. It's getting everywhere right now, which is interesting.
Are you running the full 14 billion
Yeah.
model?
Well, it's FP8, but yeah.
You're running the FP8? Okay. I haven't played around with the FP8. I've just been running the FP16.
So some people are really trying to run these video generation workflows on the smallest possible hardware that they can. And
You know my thoughts. You know my thoughts on that. Like, I saw a post about a guy having posted this on Reddit and saying that he got it running on a 16 gigabyte VRAM, 6 gigabyte VRAM on a GGUF, and has a bunch of LoRa's added just to be able to run this model, and the results were just terrible. And like, if you're going all that like spending all that time and energy to get this thing running, and then the results are going to be completely useless for by any means, then might as well just pay for the freaking paid models,
yeah,
you know. Or just rent a GPU and run it on a proper GPU where you can actually enjoy what this model can
get
produce.
the output. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually not bad at all.
But it's giving the same quality, very comparable quality with the original. I mean, I don't know what's going on
Can
with
I
this
say
quality right
something?
now.
Can I
It's
say
super
something?
hazy,
Your
but
seed is fixed. Could it be just the bad seed you got there?
no, it's this one's incrementing. So the second K sampler in the 2.2 workflows are always fixed because it's not adding any noise. But the first one's adding the noise, and this one's set to increment,
Okay,
so it
I
should
thought
be
maybe
okay.
that one's also fixed.
But yeah, so if you do want to speed things up, you can try just adding these LoRa's. It's the same workflow as the standard 1 2.2 workflow. You just add these LoRa loader nodes
Yeah,
in after the load diffusion models, and yeah, the
yeah.
LoRa is
Let's
here
link
on
to these
Civitan.
LoRa's as well in the description.
Yeah, we will.
And I want to try this as well, at least with that the IKEA unboxing, because one of the users had commented on Reddit that they couldn't get this. They had added this LoRa, and the
Mm,
results they were getting was not the same as the one we were producing, even though they were following everything else.
right.
So I just want to see if that LoRa actually makes a difference in how the prompt is followed.
Yeah. Well, I guess without further ado, we have more experiments to run. So let's get to it. See you next week.
It was fun. See you guys next week.